up and we're like, why aren't we playing like we're, why aren't we playing to our playstyle, to our composition? They finally ended up doing that. They ended up going for those aggressive pushes at the very start of the game, respecting UWU a little bit too much. And UWU, I think, getting shaken and unable to, I don't know, shake it off, I think. Taking a little bit of a loss in the end here. Still a respectable score from both of these teams, as we do go to a 1-1 at the very end of it. So Asterai, after all of it, after all that's said and done, I think I'm happy to say that Group D is living up to its name, the group of life, where every team has a very good chance at claiming a couple of points for themselves.
Yeah, it seems like it's still all up across the board. I mean, we're technically in the first series for Group D, so they have everything that can be lined up for them. Anyways, guys, we are going to be going for that quick break. When we come back, we're going to be setting up already into that next series. First done, there's so much more to go, so don't go anywhere. VCTC Challengers, Day 2, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. This concluded the Group D first match of the day, first match of Group D at all here on day number 2 of the group stages. Of course, it went 1-1 against Asteroid's predictions. I know Illustrado was right on that, but joining us this time is Mr. Dax himself. How are you doing, first of all, man, after watching that? And quick recap on what you saw in the last game.
You know, it was an incredible game, but what I really noticed was how many times Illustrado and Asteroid had to say ooh. And that warmed my heart, finally seeing them just do that together. But really, when UWU took control, they did Alter Ego in the meantime. Second map, waking on up and ending up to 1-1, really showing what the group of life is all about, guys.
I mean, we kind of have to need that contrast, I guess. If we got the group of life, then we have a group of death as well. That's going to come up in just a hair. But we're going to check out the standings first and foremost, before we even get to that, how things have been progressing throughout this entire tournament. Once again, we're only on day number 2, but things are looking quite spicy. Completed the first set of our Group D matches just now, with UWU taking a 1-1 with Alter Ego. And right up next, we got Cerberus Esports versus Oasis Gaming to round out that Group D stage. Of course, after this, we're going to have Group A and Group B once more to clean up the day. But, I mean, for the meantime, you know, UWU, I think everybody was kind of surprised by how they performed, and I'm just going to say I'm the only one who kind of predicted, officially, that they're going to come out of this group stage. And so, I mean, after that performance, Asterai, real quick recap on what you think, you know, really was the big difference between Alter Ego and UWU. Why did it go to that 1-1 stretch?
I think it just goes back to the basic fundamentals. There's just much
Brand
more structured gameplay
Esports,
from UWU, and you
Ego,
saw them take
Boom
active map
Esports.
control. Alter Ego, it took them
Boom
such a
ketemu
long
Extend.
time to actually get
Holy.
that active map control. It was only then that they were
Belum
able to
ketemu
really
Extend.
lock down this next map.
Well, first of all, after that one, we got to look at the next one. Going up here in the Group D, Cerberus, first team we're going to check up on here. These guys, we know that they are one of the top dogs, mind the pun, the 3 heads of their own respective region, but that's right. I know you got a lot to say about these guys. What you got?
Yeah, of course, again, big shout out to my friend Abby, who is one of the prevalent people in the Vietnam region that, you know, was able to kind of give me the information that we need right now for Cerberus. Cerberus, we already know that they are a very prolific roster that has been supported by their organization that came from Korea. Again, this team hasn't really had a change in roster for such a long time, and one of the people to definitely watch out for is Psycute, their super explosive jet player.
Yeah, and on the other side, we got Oasis Gaming, so big shout out to, well, myself for being a good friend to the Oasis Gaming roster. And you got Coco Gadores, courtesy Marky and Ripper, some of the hottest hots in the Philippine scene, some of the coolest as well. But in their latest BCTPH run, they showed up finally in their final form, the best of the rest there for Oasis Gaming, and they just heated on up. Keep an eye on the duels there, Marky and Gadores especially, because these guys, they can take command of a matchup.
This man just shouted himself on out, but respect much there, Dax, because these guys, you might be sleeping on your side, but never sleep on Oasis. I'm channeling Twitch chat right there. Here, of course, is the matchup, raise to raise, Gadores and Kishi, 1 apiece. And, you know, we can go about all the stats, but performance is really what matters when you go into the game. Speaking of performance here, Dax, I know you know a lot about these guys. What do you think about what Kishi and Gadores have to offer?
Yeah, Kishi, in the last VCT Challengers SCA, he's the one who performed there for Cerberus. Unfortunately, they couldn't get a map. It did feel like the Vietnam region was just ill-prepared for SCA back then. Gadores, in the meantime, when he is ready, when he is hot, he can just keep Oasis Gaming in the game. But we're going to get our map selection here, and that's right, Breeze and Split looking very interesting, because from my perspective, I feel like both of these maps are good for both teams.
I definitely have to agree. I'm not entirely sure about Breeze just yet. It seems like still an X factor for a lot of our teams here. But you know what? I just also realized that with this second C tournament that we do have, or I think third C tournament that we have right now, it seems like it's the it's an arc for a shonen tournament anime where they had first encounters during, again, the road to Iceland, and now here the road to Berlin, Germany. It's everybody just leveling up, and Vietnam has so much to offer right now. I think especially now that they have had more time to play with each other. Again, Cerberus roster hasn't really changed up in a while, and going maybe into Breeze, that could be something, but I also have to note that Oasis Gaming has been a team that has shown to have a lot of set plays that can really take away at teams that are not prepared for it.
quick stat for you guys, a very interesting pick, I think, coming from Oasis Gaming, considering the fact that in the official circuit, Breeze for them is 1-3. They've only had one win on Breeze so far, while meanwhile, on the other side of things, Cerberus, they're 2-0 so far in Breeze. Not the huge, really kind of pool to take these stats from, but it's something still to consider, and very interestingly enough, Oasis picking Breeze. So we're going to move into the next match in just a bit. Cerberus versus Oasis. I mean, these guys, what is there to say aside from them being almost kind of like what we'd expect to kind of shake things up here in this group, especially. Quick predictions, guys. That's where I will start with you. How do you think this game's going to go?
I feel like I'm gonna get hate from the Filipinos, but I'm gonna go.
You always do.
It's okay,
Yeah. Hashtag blame Master, right? Anyways, I think it's gonna be 2-0 for me. Cerberus side.
Okay. I'm interested just to think why you're going for that, because I felt also it was 2-0. Feels like it's a safe answer to go 1-1, right? But this series, it will be defined by whose identity will shine here. And I'll go the other way after 2-0 in favor of Oasis Gaming. Go all in on Oasis.
Well, here we go. Thanks for the predictions, guys. I personally kind of have to think it's going to go either way, 1-1, but we're going to find out for ourselves here with a matchup. Oasis Gaming here now versus Cerberus, of course, the three-headed dogs versus that small illusion out in the desert. Who's going to win this series? Well, we're about to find out here. Last match of Group D, last match to round out this entire group stage, at least for the second day. Let's go into it.
Another tragedy, and we just need some numb. Need the peace, humanity, the storm in the streets. We see police go freeze from right, and then that's that you know the body. Okay. Get reciprocated, but I swear that I culture discombobulated. All these people picking sides, I'm just trying to circumnavigate it. Got me thinking, man, the situation getting complicated. Let me tell you all the 90s, baby.
Before he gets a kill, he doesn't. Ripper instead.
Stand back
There's a
abuser.
paradise outside that door in the underworld, but there's a big dog
Rabat,
getting in
anjing.
the way, and pretty much perfect analogy
One
right
bug,
now
bro.
between
One bug
these
is all
two
it takes.
teams as we got Cerberus versus Oasis. It's gonna be the first game of our Vietnam versus Philippine region doubleheader here, right? Because we're gonna be seeing that later on between Bren and Ego as well after this. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our second match of the second day. It is gonna be Cerberus versus Oasis. I'm Dax here with Asarai, and Asarai, again, I do want to go back to the map pool because I know for a fact that both of these teams love the map pool right now. Both Breeze and Split. There are rich
Kalau gua kayaknya akan lebih ke arah Cerberus karena Cerberus ini udah bukan kali pertama mereka masuk ke Challenger playoff. Sementara dari Oasis ini adalah debut pertama mereka. Jadi sebenarnya gua juga
Negative win percentage on Breeze, but that could just be indicative of their previous iterations. Again, it seems like a lot of these teams have been preparing different strategies from what we saw. Whether it's successful or not, it just has to see in the performance that they do on that particular day. But there are some set strategies that we haven't really seen from these teams when they played their specific regions now coming into Southeast Asia. And that's just because we have that week break where now these players are able to try to do some other stuff. And very much looking forward to Breeze because
Main
it's
lah,
always
anjing lah.
been Breeze that has been the, I think, X factor for a lot of these teams. Yesterday, XM versus GXR, never really expecting GXR to run away with Breeze, and lo and behold, they almost took a game away from X10, even though they did win that map overall. Again, just check out the posts and whatnot, but still, again, X factor is Breeze.
That's right. You prefer the stats, sure, but I prefer the magic. You know already where we're going this. But But really, the thing about the map pool right now for Oasis Gaming, it's a bit of a lost surprise. Breeze is a map they have practiced a lot in scrims, and they were very, very eager to play it in the VCT-PH circuit, but unfortunately, didn't pan out. And instead, a map that they weren't too comfortable with back then, Split, became their paradise, became their ace in the hole, and
Nanti
especially with the set shots they
ganti
know,
stream dulu
with
guys.
courtesy on that breach, that could be something to watch out for later on. But